So Bruce, fixtures finally released. What are your thoughts? No games in Adelaide.
No games in Adelaide is disappointing, but obviously completely out of our hands now that the border restrictions remain in place for New South Wales. But look, it's going to be a tough end of the season. You know, we're playing the top 5 teams, but we're confident. You know, we're thereabouts for finals, and we'd expect to make finals.
How late did you find out about the changes? There was talk yesterday that Queensland was being made the backup option. When did you find out for sure this is going to be in the future?
I had a pretty good idea some time ago. Obviously, it came public yesterday around the border restrictions remaining for New South Wales. Prudent measure, obviously, after what we've seen, what's happened in Victoria. But, you know, we're used to rolling with the punches now. We're used to things changing very quickly, and we're very adaptable.
Bruce, how do you feel about the A-League making 26 out of 27 games in Sydney? And all of a sudden the AFL is saying we're getting out of Sydney because there's cases there currently. What do you make of that?
Well, I think now, you know, I don't know if you're alluding to the issues they had with the Melbourne teams getting out of Victoria, but there's a plan B now that's set in stone. That's in Queensland. So we're happy to go to New South Wales. We think it's okay there for the moment. As we know, things can change very quickly, and to have a backup and fall back into Queensland is comforting.
Well, I'm alluding to the fact that the AFL is moving out of New South Wales altogether, that they're going to Queensland. Yeah.
AFL makes a lot of mistakes, mate. This could be another one.
When did you? Well, are you flying to Brisbane and back this weekend, or what's?
So yesterday we were flying to Brisbane and back. As of this morning, we're flying to Brisbane and then straight into Sydney. So obviously wanting to limit the travel and limit the movement of people, which is fair enough. And we'll go straight into the Sydney hub post our game against Brisbane Roar.
How many do you get to take up there? And have you got enough to take up there?
Yeah, we got enough to take up there. You know, we'll probably take 25 odd players. We'll end up in Sydney. We'll just take the match day squad for the Brisbane game, and we'll have a few boys fly from here directly into Sydney next week.
What about James Troisi? If he is to make it back before the end of the season, will he come over then, or is he coming over with the team?
He'll come over when he's ready to train and play. The plan for him at the moment is to stay here and do his rehab. And when he gets to a level where he's running, he just had an operation yesterday. So when he gets to a level when he's running and able to be competitive, then we'll look to fly him over whenever that may be.
What's the level of angst among the squad about the way things are shaping and the changes, and now they've obviously got to be in a hub for 4 weeks or 5 weeks?
Look, I think, and I was discussing this earlier today actually, a hub for footballers, it's not a big deal for us, you know. Anyone who's been to a national team game, you know, anyone who's been to World Cup qualifiers, anyone who's been involved at the Australian Institute of Sport and upwards, we're used to having camps. And we're used to having camps in places where people don't normally frequent. You know, we'll go to Uzbekistan, we'll go to North Korea, we go everywhere to play our world game. So a hub for us it's quite normal. A hub for a lot of other sports, I understand, is a new thing. They're used to flying in, flying out, but it's going to be no different to a national team camp.
Do you know where you'll be staying? At the moment, seeing a lot of the Melbourne teams, like Melbourne City and Melbourne Victoria, having to share where you'll be.
We'll be
not having to share with any other team.
Oh, I don't know if any other teams will be there. I don't think so. But you know, we're not too concerned about that. There's a lot of hotels that are pretty empty in Sydney at the moment.
Did the A-League give you a reason why they've decided not to have a game?
Here?
Yeah.
Because they've got to quarantine for 14 days. So it's just a government restriction. So our base case was to have a home game here till a couple of days ago.
Where has this left you long term? Any idea, with a squad for next season in mind? I mean, can you plan at all?
Very difficult to plan, considering how much operational work is going into day-to-day operations at the moment. But in saying that, you know, we're very lucky and we're very privileged to have the bulk of the squad that we have now already signed for next season. We're going to have to sign some new players, no doubt. but we're not looking at wholesale changes. You know, you might look at 4 or 5, maybe 6 players coming through, and then there's going to be some young boys who are going to get chances as well to push their case for contracts for next season as well throughout this end of the season, and you know that'll help make our decision in terms of player recruitment. Obviously, there's the head coach role as well. That's happening in the background. So long hours, mate, and a lot of not sleepless nights, but not much sleep throughout the evenings.
Are you, as a club, reticent in any way about overseas players, given the restrictions that are in place now and what they might be, or what?
What I will say is we're much more concentrated on the local talent than we are foreigners at this point in time.
Does it make it harder to judge with Carl having this sort of 5-game audition period? Does it make it harder to judge considering all these circumstances if you reckon he will be there for next season?
I don't think it makes it harder to judge. You might change the metrics around a little bit. You know, judge, it's not just about winning and losing. It's about how you play, how the players are playing. Are you getting the maximum out of the team that you can? And that's what Carl will be judged on. You know, obviously results help, but it's not the be all and end all.
And you mentioned before about how the players are feeling in terms of their safety in the area where there's cases beginning to recover. What are your thoughts on player safety?
I'll wait for this plane.
It's unusual. It's a plane.
It's unusual. Don't know where they're going. It's not to Victoria. Look, I got full confidence in the protocols, and you know it's a fair stack of paper on my desk about COVID protocols and all the rest. How stringent it's going to be. You know, players are going to have to stay in the hotel the whole time, bar training and essential work, if you like, games, training. So I think, you know, the risk to the players is less than what it probably is here in their day-to-day, because it's going to be such a quarantine sort of workplace. So the players aren't concerned about that, to my knowledge. If they are, then they certainly haven't shared it with me, and personally I'm not concerned either.